One being retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General William Boykin spent 36 years in the Army, former Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence. General, Ukrainians may be on their own, but boy, is this impressive.
Well, this is shaping up to be a David and Goliath. I mean, I don't think that Putin fully appreciated the resolve as well as the tenacity of the Ukrainians. And I've said a number of times on different programs, this is going to be a bloody fight. And right now, it's exactly what it is. It's shaping up to be a very bloody fight. And Putin is going to wind up losing an awful lot of support, not only internationally, but among his own people.
Help us understand from a tactical perspective, what does the United States know about what's happening on the ground and what do we not?
Well, our intelligence is very good. You know, we can see exactly where they're doing, what they're doing in terms of their maneuvers. We can monitor what they're doing in terms of their radio traffic, and to some extent, those things that are controlled by the internet, we can see that as well. So we have a good appreciation for what they're doing, and the question is, what's their next move?
Yeah.
And I will also tell you that if they have lost 2,400 Russians already, that is enormous.
Yeah, no, it's a huge. Yeah, well, it's a huge number, and you know that if the Russians have to push into Kyiv and fight for every street, that number is going to go up exponentially. We learned in Afghanistan, the Russians learned in Afghanistan how difficult fighting an insurgency is, and the Ukrainians have had 8 years to prepare for this. What has been, I turn it around, why was the Ukrainian forces so underestimated, or is it the Russian forces that were overestimated both in their ability and in their resolve?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Keep in mind, wait, Leland,
yeah.
Keep in mind, Russia's army combined forces have not been to war since they left Afghanistan. That was 1989. You got a generation of people who include the senior most leaders there that were just have never been to war. They've never fought. And what Putin wound up doing was taking a very complex course of action here, in which he came in essentially on 3 axes, probably 4 if you count it. And he is not using his combined arms stuff effectively. He's not using his aircraft in conjunction with his infantry and so forth.
Yeah, and also we understand that they don't have air superiority right now. As we speak, 2 a.m. in Kyiv, the Battle of Kyiv is beginning. At least those are the reports, because it's very difficult to even get a live picture out of there, much less any kind of information. They don't have air superiority. Air attacks continue. The Ukrainians keep shooting down the Russian planes. President Zelensky says the fate of Ukraine will be decided tonight. Is that, if the Russians are kept out of the city tonight, is that really checkmate for them?
No, I don't think so. Look, I think Zelensky was trying to rally the people, trying to get them all to get out and get a weapon and be prepared for a fight in the capital city. But I don't think that tonight is in any way the final battle. Either, you know, one side or the other is going to survive tonight. But I think that this is going to go on for quite a while.
You obviously studied the Russian military for a long time. What is their will to fight in this war? We've heard Vladimir Putin use every excuse in the book. Sometimes he calls the Ukrainians his brothers. Sometimes he calls them Nazis. Sometimes he's asking the Ukrainian military to surrender. Sometimes he's asking them for a coup against Zelensky. What does the average Russian private or corporal have in this fight?
Yeah, now just think about this. These are young men. No matter what our society says, young men go off to battle. Young men want to test themselves. Young men want to prove themselves against a foe. And as simple as that may sound to a lot of people, that is a reality. The problem is, once you get your first taste of combat, your attitude changes. And I think that's what's happening now. I think that they are failing because they did underestimate the Ukrainians and they overestimated their own capabilities.
I want to get you on this, and before we go, the Russians have a whole range of options. You know Russian doctrine better than just about anybody. And it says that at this point, if you're failing, you just start carpet bombing. That's what they did in Syria. That's what they tried to do. That's what they did in Afghanistan. They would slaughter entire villages. What is the calculus right now going on among the Russian generals about whether or not to employ those kinds of techniques against Kyiv and some of the other cities that they haven't been able to take according to the battle plan?
You know, you just brought up what my major concern is. I'm very concerned now that because they have met a very stiff resistance and they're losing people, that's exactly where this could go. That would be tragic. I mean, that would be a disaster. And you know, don't forget that they still have tactical nuclear weapons. And I'm not so sure that if they got bogged down, that wouldn't ultimately be a Rubicon that they'd be willing to cross just to be able to get their troops out.
You know, General, we talked to a lot of folks, and not many can give me chills. But the idea that you, after your experience and your knowledge, says that you would not rule out the use of tactical nuclear weapons adds another scary dimension to this that I hadn't even considered. General, we appreciate it. Thanks for the time. Have a good weekend, sir.
You too, Leland.
Yeah, thank you. Scary. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.